Right, so we are now recording. Yes, hello everybody, welcome back to the tNb Gaming Podcast. We have returned from a long hiatus, contract negotiations and all sorts of bits and pieces, and a hibernating season for myself personally. But it's great to be back with you once again here on YouTube, and a slightly later time on a Sunday night. But this is going to be a new regular sort of time slot for us, alternating with that other program where people come on and try and give you their old tat. This is the Retro Bear speaking to you live from the gaming pantry, and you'll have to excuse us slightly because we're recording this in a different way than we've done before, so it'd be interesting to see how this goes. But I'm very pleased to say we've got some of your favourite tNbers with us tonight. Unfortunately, a couple of people couldn't make it. Not to worry, hopefully they'll be on a future broadcast, and I'll bring everybody in as I always do. First to my right, left, possibly, I don't know. I can't tell from here. It is Pete Fighter 2. Hi, Pete.
Hi, how's it going?
He's back. Hello, I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm not bad, thanks. How are you?
Oh well, you know, I'm soldering on. But no, it's good to be back. It's got a nice feel to it. It's good. You know, we can all see each other now, which we couldn't do before, which is quite strange. So
it's kind of hard to get back into the swing of this, though. It's like I've forgotten how to talk to people. That's
it. Yeah, we've got to remember we are sort of looking at each other. We're used to doing these streams, but there's nobody actually watching the stream, which is really weird. And I've had to double check to make sure I'm not actually accidentally uploaded this to YouTube by mistake. But yeah, it's good to be back, and nice to see you back, mate, as well. That's good. Bringing in Sean at Retro Games Revived. He's with us as well today. Hi, Sean.
Yeah, hello, mate. How are we doing?
We're very well, thank you. How are you?
Good. Yes, I'm really good, mate. Thank you.
I should point out to anybody who's well, you can't see, obviously, I've mentioned it a number of times, but Sean's actually wearing a very snazzy pair of headphones. But of course, he's wore those especially for this particular thing, but of course, we're doing it audio, at least we can't actually see what it is. But it's sort of like red and yellow, in they, Sean?
Yes, the big, bright orangey, red, yellow headphones that I use for COD. And they serve the purpose well, to be fair.
Oh,
so
right, okay.
I can hear every footstep around me and still get shot. So
no, they look sharp. They do. I mean, it's a nice colour. Them.
Yeah.
And the final member of the panel this evening is sort of chuckling away at the moment, looking at me. But it's a great pleasure. He's back here once again. He still is the sexiest man on YouTube. It is, of course, Nathan Retro 1.
Good evening, everybody. How are you?
We're very well, thank you.
Now, you said you aren't uploading it to YouTube, but you're not like streaming it live on Pornhub or something like that, are you, by accident?
I can't guarantee I'm not. Well, that's why I'm sat here topless, so it's all right.
Yeah. This is why we stripped off the video.
That's it. Yeah. We've got the audio version, and we've got the X-rated video version, which we'll upload to Pornhub later. So yeah.
Patreons only.
Yeah. But everybody is good, everybody is well, and it's great to see everybody again. Because it's January was the last time we did a podcast. We sort of slowed down at the end of last year into the start of this year, and obviously with everything else that have been going on. I mean, Christ, since we've not done one of these, there's been so many different things happening in the world, and we've still got this bloody pandemic going on with no sort of signs of ending. And we've been through this cycle, and especially over in the UK, if you're listening to us elsewhere, we had a rotten start to the year, and things are slowly getting back to normal, but they may not be getting back to normal. So really, we're sort of the same situation we were last year when last time we spoke to you. But it is good to be back, and we've got lots of ideas and things coming up, and the old format isn't going to change too much, which is basically we always bring up with what we've been playing. We have a bit of a chat about stuff, and then we talk about a topic of the week. And there's an interesting topic of the week, especially considering the day this is going out, sort of very important day in history. We thought it might be a good idea to just talk about some games relating to that sort of event, but we'll talk about that a bit later. Let's talk about, I mean, it's going to be unfair to me to ask everybody sat there now what you've been playing for the past 4 months, because obviously you haven't been making any lists, I guess. No?
Some of us haven't.
No one's made a list, right? That's okay.
I've made a list, but this is literally the last month.
Well, if no one's made a list, I'll just get rid of this. But yeah, we'll just go around and see what everyone's been up to, and games I've been playing recently, and anything that's caught your eye gaming wise since in the last sort of 3 or 4 months or so that if people may have missed or something like that. Pete, what have you been doing?
How long you got?
I don't know.
I've got a PS5. I managed to get a PS5, and I subsequently lost a month of my life to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which it's just standard Assassin's Creed fare, but it took me 130 hours to do, and I didn't even do it all. 130 hours. 130 hours over a month. I've been told that's bad, but I don't think it's too bad.
Well, that's practically a week. That's 1 week out of the month, isn't it? I mean,
that's why I literally didn't watch anything on YouTube for like a month, because just about every waking hour when I was at home, I was playing that game.
Sleep is overrated, mate.
Yeah, it really is.
YouTube's overrated, yeah.
I work my sleep so I've been mini hibernations. Like I'll go for like a week of like 4 hours, and then I'll have a long sleep at the end. But it outstayed its welcome, Assassin's Creed. As much as I love the series, and I was really enjoying that game, and I put a couple of stupid videos on Instagram of things that have happened and stuff like that. It really outstayed its welcome, and by the end of it, I was just so happy to be done.
It does look a really good game, though, Pete. To be fair,
yeah,
I watched Joe playing it. I haven't played it myself, but I've watched Joe playing it, and it looks vast as well.
It is vast. I was one funny thing about it though was the fact that like when you play in open world games and they're set in a proper locale, they do like scale down the size of it. It's like I was a bit after that I was playing Spider-Man Miles Morales, and you've got all of like most of New York to swing around in, but it's really scaled down. But you don't notice because you're not used to it. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, despite being about Vikings, is mostly set in the UK, in England. And I think I timed myself sprinting from about where Bear lives to about where Nath lives, and I think I ran that in about 10 minutes flat. Yeah, I think
I can tell you, it's about 4.5 hours in the car.
Yeah, not if you're a Viking, it's not.
Yeah.
Have you been to mine and not like dropped in? You just
I've been very close to yours.
I was like, you drove to mine to time it, and I was like, oh, that's how long it is, and just drove home.
But yeah, I finished that. I moved on to Spider-Man, like I said, which was a considerably shorter game because it's more of like a glorified DLC for the original Spider-Man game. But it was kind of exactly what I needed at that time because it's just full of like positive characters. And it's bright, and bad things happen, obviously, because if it didn't, it'd be a boring superhero game. But it's just a positive, upbeat game, and it's really kind of exactly what I needed right at that point. Really good game, really enjoyed it. After that, I do a thing where I mean to film this, but I never can be bothered at the time. But I kind of pick a random game off my list to play when I'm sat in my game room, and I got one called on the Game Boy Advance called Nicktoons Freeze Frame Frenzy, which I believe in the UK was called SpongeBob and Friends Fatal Frame.
Fatal Frame?
Fatal Frame's Project Zero, isn't it? Yeah. But it's
the SpongeBob the ghost.
I played it for a good old 5 minutes because it was sort of a game where you pick one of the Nicktoons characters. And you basically you're just walking through a level, and there's things happening. You just have to take photos of them by like moving a target over and pressing the button. And it is the dullest, most awful thing I've ever experienced.
It sounds terrible.
There's a Japanese game like that, isn't there? There's one on the PC Engine where I think you're like a paparazzi and you've got to take snaps of things with a camera. I can't remember what it's called.
I was reading the Wikipedia article, and it did say it was very similar to another game, so it might have been that. It sounded Japanese. But
I mean, like a Nick. Is Nicktoons still a thing?
Oh yeah. Most of the characters on there, I didn't even know who. Because back when I used to watch Nicktoons, it was like Rugrats, Real Monsters, Ren and Stimpy, sort of thing like that.
Rocko's Modern Life.
Rocko's Modern Life. Oh god, yeah.
Cow and Chicken.
That was a cartoon.
That was what a cartoon.
That's all. There we go.
The two characters I could choose from was SpongeBob and this kid on a skateboard. I have no idea who he was. So
No,
they must
I
still
don't
be
know.
around, but they've just changed things up. But yeah, don't recommend that one. I played Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity on the Switch, and I played through that, and it's my first ever Warriors series game that I've ever actually played through. And I'm a convert. I'm going to go back and get the Dynasty Warriors games, I think, because they're all cheap as chips.
Yeah, I've picked up a couple of cheap ones in the past. That series.
Yeah, but
PlayStation.
it sort of functions as like a prequel to Breath of the Wild. So that's what I was drawn to, despite not liking the game, not liking the sort of format of the game. But it kind of deviates from that, because if you know the backstory for Breath of the Wild, things don't end well on that prequel bit. So they kind of change the story so everything ends fine, and it's not canon at all. But I really enjoyed playing it, and yeah, I don't know if I ever told you about it. I'm sure I mentioned it in this podcast about a friend I used to go to school with, and his idea of fun was to invite you around on a Saturday and then sit and play single-player computer games while you watched. I'm sure I've mentioned it because we were on about burning down his Sims house while he was having his dinner. But yeah, he used to sit and play Dynasty Warriors like 2 and 3 and stuff on the PS2, and I think that's why I hated the series, to be fair. But no, really converted now. I really enjoy playing it.
Worth getting then, is it?
Yeah,
'Cause I was
yeah.
in two minds.
Yeah, I mean, I was a bit disappointed that it obviously deviates from the story, but Nate's showing us something. What's that?
No, I'm showing it, so we didn't have to talk about it. Gakisha Boy was that picture-taking game on the PSC engine.
Oh,
That is the one.
I remember that. Yes.
Yeah.
That is the one.
Trying
Apparently, it
to,
plays a lot like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, moved on to Xenocrisis on the Evercade. Actually finished it, which I am really proud of myself for, because it is mentally hard. I was kind of abusing save states. I was every room I was saving just before I left the room. I kind of gave up on that on like the 4th or 5th level, and I cheated. But played through it with like invulnerability on, and got to the end and found out that you get a bad ending if you cheat, and you can't actually fight the last boss. So I went back to my previous save on I think I was on the 5th level. Carried on doing it the way I've been doing it, where I just like clear a room, save it, go on to the next room, clear a room, save it. If I lost a life or anything, I'd redo it again. And there's only 7 levels in the game, so I was quite near the end. So yeah, I ended up finishing that. The last boss is bizarrely the easiest boss in the game, and super pleased with myself for that. I'm nearly done. Don't worry.
Would you recommend that one?
Xenocrisis is one of the best games I've played in a long time.
Yeah, is that a double cartridge with?
Yes,
yeah.
That and Tanglewood, which I've not played, but Nath has, and I'm sure Nath can attest to.
Yeah, I did play of it on my channel for like 10-15 minutes. Really beautiful game, Russ. Like, if you get the chance to play it, do. Yeah, I think that's probably one of the better ways to play it, because if you have it on the Mega Drive, I mean, last I saw the cart was about 60 quid. It's got to be more than that now, I reckon. But yeah, the Evercade's a decent way to play it.
Like same as Xenocrisis.
The backup. What was that?
It's the same with Xenocrisis. It's really expensive now to get it on the Mega Drive. So 15 quid for both of them. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, I don't know why I haven't bought it yet, because I am interested in buying it. I just gone bought other stuff in between then. So
it's a brutally hard game, but if you like stuff like Smash TV and Robotron, it's going to be, it's well. You really need a 6-button pad to play it on the Mega Drive, though.
Yeah, I was going to say that, actually.
Yeah, I've got one somewhere.
Bloody hard without it.
Yeah. So yeah, apart from that, I've been sort of slowly working my way through the Order 1886, which is not as good as I remember. And I've been playing a role-playing game on the Evercade called Brave Battle Saga on the Pico Interactive Collection 1. And I'm really enjoying it. It's like a game that only came out in Taiwan on the Mega Drive. But then in 2018, Pico got the rights to it, translated it, and brought it out in the West. And then obviously it came out on the Evercade. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's a bit nonsense at times, but Japanese role-playing games always are.
Yeah.
And it's apparently a lot less nonsense than the Russian version, because there's like a Russian fan translation. And instead of actually learning how to speak Russian and translating it properly, all they did was run it through Google Translate, and apparently it makes no sense at all. So I kind of wish I knew how to speak Russian just to get hold of that fan translation, just see what it's like. But yeah, it's a nice little JRPG. I've played a couple of hours of it, and I'm really enjoying it. So I want more games like that on the Evercade, and less sort of arcadey ones, and more like story-based role-playing types. I'd love it like a Final Fantasy collection or a Breath of Fire collection, something like that.
I can also sense the comments in the chat now. When you mention the word Evercade, he's just going to set loads of people off and like, yeah, I love the Evercade and I hate the Evercade and all this. I don't think there's been anything that has sort of split people right down the middle like it for a very, very long time. Either you like it or you don't like it. There's no sort of middle ground.
I really do.
And there's this Amico thing, which again, as we're recording this tonight, there's a live chat going on about the Amico. I know people have been sort of listening to what's been going on there, and a few sort of videos been going back and forth on that. I mean, I've sort of not really paying much attention to it because I'm not really interested in the Amico anyway, but that seems to ruffle a few people's feathers as well for some reason.
Personally, I think it looks like a big, hot, sweaty bag of garbage.
You heard it here, folks.
There you go.
Is
it another emulating?
No, it's an Intellivision. It's an Intellivision. It's a new Intellivision console.
Right.
But it's all digital media. It's all sort of, every game looks like a mobile phone game that you'd spend or something you'd buy on the Switch for 70p.
Looks like a foot spa from
It does look like a foot spa.
Like a foot spa with two of those controllers that you had the twisty dial in the middle. Two of them in a foot spa. There you go. That'll look good as a console.
But again, it's one of these. It's just sort of people are either yeah, it's a great idea. No, as Pete said, it's whatever sweaty box of garbage.
I would buy it for £30, and it's £300. I'm not interested in it in the slightest, to be honest with you. No.
But I don't know enough about it. But it's not something I think. Oh, I'm gonna read up about that. So I appreciate why some people will be interested. I appreciate why some people may hate it. I have no opinion on it, so we shall draw a line under that one.
It really reminds me of the Ouya, if you remember that.
Yes, it's funny when you mentioned that just now, talking about mobile, looks like mobile games, and I thought there was a console like that a few years back, wasn't there? And I couldn't think of the name at the time, but yeah, that's what it is, isn't it?
Developed by Outcasts.
No, it's Hey Ya.
Someone somewhere laughed.
He's been storing these up for 4 months or so. That's what it is.
But yeah, I'm done. That's what I've been playing.
Oh, you've been busy then, mate. That's good.
Yeah, that's why I've not been watching anybody's videos and stuff. I'm trying to get back into that. I've been starting to watch them at work because I really feel like I need to put the work in again. But
well, if you put an hour and a half, 130 hours into Valhalla, then I can understand it. But yeah,
I mean, you want to put the work in at work.
I will say this, and one of the great things about this, we're on here. Okay, so promotes our own channels, but we're not here to sort of hammer that down your throats or sort of thing. The channels are there if you want to sort of watch them. But Pete did this fantastic games room tour. If you've not seen it, I mentioned it on my channel a couple of weeks back. It's just an absolutely brilliant tour around the Lad Loft. It really is fantastic. I really did enjoy that.
Well, thank you very much.
If anybody hasn't watched it out there, do go and check it out because Pete's done a fantastic job. He's an amazing collection. I didn't realise he got half the stuff that you've actually got. That was what surprised me about it, and I was just so thrilled to see that. It was about an hour and a quarter, is it, Pete? Something like that.
Something like that, yeah. I tried to keep it trim, but it took me 4 weeks to make as well. It was weird.
I tell you something, mate, it didn't feel like it. It did not feel like that long at all. No.
No, thank you. I was really sort of hesitant about it because I don't collect a display. Obviously, a lot of my stuff's in CD wallets and stuff, so I really didn't know how to do it. But I really wanted to try, and it seems to have had a positive response. So,
and my room's your loft. Really is from seeing it.
And Nate's obviously spent the night in there as well, haven't you? So
did.
Yeah, voluntarily, I should add, just in case,
Yeah, the cellar's where I keep the involuntary ones. But yeah, it seemed to get a good response, and the room's changed a lot since I made that, so there'll probably be another one next year.
Brilliant. Well, that's a good time to do it. Yeah, every year, update it every year, and it's slightly different than before. And they always do well, those sort of videos. Although I've always thought, people keep asking me about that, and I thought there's no point in doing one around here because you've seen everything anyway.
I'd still like a look.
Honestly, mate, it's a bit overrated. I'm going to be honest with you.
You're saying your own videos overrated.
Yeah.
Or you even put it out and filmed it.
I mean, it is practically at the moment, sort of about 2/3 floor space, 1/3 space is taken up on the floor with all sorts of stuff. Not just my stuff. There's other stuff here as well, but it's a bit of a shambles at the moment. Maybe one day they'll tidy it all up, I have to say. Gone in short, what have you been doing then, mate? Well,
predictably, I've been playing the good old Call of Duty. Since last time we spoke, we have actually had a change of map. What happened was the name of the place in Warzone is Verdansk, and Verdansk got overrun with zombies. Very original.
It's always happening, isn't it?
Yeah,
I hate when that happens.
I know. Pesky zombies. And
you'd have thought they'd be reporting on the news.
You'll get rid of them.
And the powers that be blew the map up and wiped it out. So what's happened is Verdansk has gone back to 1984, and everything's brand new, shiny. All buildings are not destroyed and stuff like that. So it looks really nice and green and colourful. And certain parts of the map have changed as well. Previously in Verdansk we had the dam, and now it's called the summit, which basically a bridge and 3 control points with cable cars and stuff. So parts of the map have changed, adding a little bit of variety. At the moment, there's an event going on, 80s Action Heroes, and you can basically buy 2 skins or 2 packs with the skins. And we've got John McClane from Die Hard, or John Rambo from Rambo. I've gone for Rambo.
Same character.
You know what, mate?
Bit of trivia. Originally, it was supposed to be the same character.
Were they?
Yeah, apparently. I'm sure I read that Die Hard was supposed to be a Rambo film, but then they decided to make him more of an everyman.
Oh, I was going to ask who'd been in a fight, but that makes it a bit weird.
I might be thinking, I don't know if I'm thinking of John Rambo or John Matrix from Commando, but I know it was one of those two. There's a lot of Johns.
I think it's like John Major then. And I thought,
well, I thought you were going for definitely not him. I think you might be talking about John Matrix, because that's a very similar film, Commando.
It was definitely Die Hard, but I couldn't remember if he was supposed to be John Matrix or John Rambo.
Right.
Yeah, sorry, Sean. Tangent.
Tangent.
I mean, at the minute, we've actually got a building, Nakatomi Plaza, and you can go in there. And I mean, I know we're going off on. Well, I'm going off on a tangent here, because this came up in one of us conversations. Die Hard, is it or isn't it?
Oh, it
Christmas
is.
film. It's not.
It is. The first one is. The first one is. The second one is. Lethal Weapon is.
No.
Prometheus is a Christmas film.
Prometheus?
Yeah, the alien one.
What?
Well,
now you've lost me. Beetlejuice? How about that, Pete?
Beetlejuice? What? Is that a Christmas film?
You said Prometheus is a Christmas film. That's on another planet. How can that be a Christmas film?
There's a Christmas tree in the spaceship. It's a Christmas film.
Is Groundhog Day a Christmas film?
No, because that's about Groundhog Day.
No.
Yeah.
They've got snow in it.
So?
Yeah, but snow's in March.
Yeah, we had snow in April this year.
Is Happy Feet a Christmas film? It's got penguins in it. You associate penguins with the North Pole and Christmas and things like that.
No, because it's always
Are they the North Pole penguins?
No.
I don't know.
One of the polls.
If there's a Christmas
Christmas-
song in it or a Christmas tree or something, it's a Christmas film. If it's set at Christmas, it's a Christmas film.
We've had many discussions with group of lads that I play COD with.
I tell you, with lockdowns, some strange things to people.
It's set at Christmas, but it's not about Christmas. This is
It's
the
on,
difference.
it's on Christmas
It
Eve.
is.
They're at a Christmas party.
No, but it's about terrorists. Bank robbers.
Well, they got attack at Christmas, haven't they?
The Christmas carols about ghosts.
Have they got Christmas hats on? Because that would make a difference. Terrorist.
One of them has. He
One of them
throws
has,
Yeah.
ties.
That's
Now
it,
have a
then.
machine gun.
Now I have a
Ho,
machine
ho.
gun. Oh, yeah.
Just in case anybody's wondering, you are listening to the TNB Gaming Podcast.
This is not a Christmas
Right.
podcast because there's no Christmas tree and it's in June.
So anyway, going back to
Sorry, Sean. Yeah.
that. But yeah, at the moment it's quite exciting. Like I say, it's added a little bit of variety. So what's in store in future? Well, we'll find out. But I actually I downloaded Battlefield 5 because I'd heard that they'd got their own Battle Royale type of game. And I thought I'll give it a try. It's called Firestorm. I've got to say, I couldn't take to it, I must admit. It felt sluggish. It felt maybe I didn't really give it enough chance. I wasn't really used to the controls. Yeah, I just couldn't get into it. So I'm afraid that didn't last long. That lasted a couple of games.
How long has it been since the last Battlefield game?
I don't know. I know there's one due out this year, isn't there? The new one's due out this year.
Because you think what happened with Medal of Honor, they left it too long between games and they completely lost track of what they were doing. And I'm just wondering, I mean, Battlefield 2 and 3 were probably sort of early 2010 or something like that. And I can't remember when Battlefield came out.
Battlefield 2 was like 2004, I think, something like that.
Was it as long ago as that?
Maybe 4, 5.
They had the Bad Company ones between them as well, didn't they? They had
Bad Company.
Yeah.
And also they've done the Star Wars Battlefront games, which are essentially Battlefield games, but Star Wars.
2005 Battlefield 2.
You can't say they're just because they're Battlefield games because they're Star Wars. They made those sort of games, but that's like saying Die Hard's a Christmas film.
Die Hard is a Christmas film.
Be back on this.
Die Hard 2 is more of a Christmas film because of the snow, but Die Hard's a Christmas film. It's got Run DMC at the start with the Chris. I can't remember what the song's called, but.
Well, we're on a tangent, by the way, and we're talking about like Rambo and Die Hard. I challenge any of you to watch the Rambo 2008 film and have a drink every time somebody dies.
You die.
It's physically impossible. No one would make that out alive.
The end scene, like the end, like massacre, you would just die.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. You just constantly be like that.
Yeah,
drinking away.
What's kill count on that then, Nave? Do we know?
I can't count them all, Sean. Honestly, I'll probably Google it, but I don't think I can count it.
We're thinking
1
that
second, I think, for every.
Where he's just like shooting across that field, isn't he? There's that field of people coming towards me, just blasting them out there.
Gatling gun.
Just like that, just waves and waves of people.
Should we have a sweepstake in the Rambo 2008 film? How many people die? There we go. To the nearest million.
278.
278. Should we do it in next week's podcast? Should we give the answer in next week's podcast? No, that won't it. Sean, how many do you think?
Oh, I reckon it's higher than that. I'm going to go 499.
That's what the price is.
499. What did you say, Bear? You said
278.
278.
Yeah.
Pete.
What did you say, Sean?
499.
What's 499? What's halfway between 499 and 278?
About 300 and something or other.
Something like 385 or something like that. Yeah, I'll go there.
I didn't say the last bit, by the way. I said in the film, how many people die is there are 552 kills in all.
You're close then, sure.
Right.
There you go.
The great thing is you now go forward to play Plinko, so you can win any sort of price is right prize.
We really are in the tangents, aren't we, this time?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's play your cards right.
There we go.
Just one last tangent. Sean, when you said that the map was called Summit, because you're a Yorkshireman, I thought you meant something. I thought you couldn't remember what it was called.
Jesus.
Oh dear,
I love it. I missed this. That's the last tangent, is it?
No.
Someone said it was the last one.
I just said one more. I didn't say it was the last.
But yeah, I mean that's all I've been playing. In my last video, obviously you'll have seen the gaming setup that I've got. So in future, hopefully, I'm going to be able to talk about some Master System games and some other maybe Xbox games and whatever I've got hooked up. So hopefully it'll be a bit more diverse than COD.
Really loving your new format, by the way, Sean. Absolutely loving that.
Yeah,
cheers.
Go on, sorry, Sean. Sorry.
Yeah, it's just so much easier actually for myself. It's all right doing it here, but I don't know. Everybody else does it in the games room. And I thought, really, I need to be in my games room as well. So, and that's my games room as such. But,
I've got to say, as Pete said there, as when I said the same about Pete, the last two videos you've done, that absolutely cracking format. It really is. It suits your sort of style as well. It's we're looking through your collection. You're changing, passionate about your PlayStation 2 and your pickups and showing us around the lockup. It's just really, really good. And again, if people haven't seen any of those videos from Sean, go and cross and check them out. They're absolutely superb. They're about half an hour each, aren't they? Something like that, mate. Quite.
Yeah. Try and keep them about half an hour.
And honestly, again, time goes like that. It's completely different to watching me, that's for sure. Anyway,
yeah,
I've noticed your videos are a bit
short.
I've noticed your videos have got a bit shorter there, Bear.
Yeah, I know.
I watched one last night. It was only like 25 minutes long. It was weird.
I couldn't believe myself either. I don't know what's happened. I used to do these incredibly long videos, and now for some reason I've got incredibly short videos. So that's the way it is. Nath, go on then. Your turn, mate. Let's hear what you've been playing recently.
Not a lot.
Getting that big build up. Come on, give us something from that.
I was trying to think what I've actually played since the turn of the year. Probably mentioned this when I was last talking. I've been playing Hollow Knight on the Switch, which, for those who don't know, is a Metroidvania style game. So really,
all those have still got it in their wrapper after their bit for Christmas.
Who are those people? Honestly, they need to open them up. Is it Dylan? No,
it's me.
It's a really cool Metroidvania style game. It's in kind of a world of bugs, I think, and insects and things like that. And I'm trying to remember the story of it basically, there was an infection that spread throughout the land of bugs, and
that sounds eerily familiar.
Heads, yeah, it's quite creepy. The kind of heads of the bugs sealed in this creature, which is called the Hollow Knight. So they basically, he could entrap that in his soul because there was nothing there, and they buried him in this egg and kind of sealed it. But the infection's kind of creeping out, and you're just a lone little creature who's gone back to the world. You have a bit of a backstory. I won't ruin too much of it, but effectively you have to face off against the Hollow Knight. And it's a really, really good game, but there's some bits in it that are just so frustratingly hard. To get a good ending, you have to do this I can't remember what it's called, the trial of truth or something like that. Someone will correct me on this, but it's basically, if you fall, you die. You basically have to hit creatures. You can double jump off them. You can dash to left and right. But any mistakes, you're dead. and you have to down. You can pogo off stuff. You kind of down swipe, and you'll bounce off things. And there's basically like spinning blades, thorns, stuff like that, just everywhere that will kill you. And I tried for about a week to get past this and just failed miserably and gave up. And it's a bit annoying, really, because when you put that much effort into a game, you kind of want to finish it. But when it's so hard, and I haven't got the reflexes for it anymore, it just kind of pisses you off. But yeah, it's a good game except for that. So I've still yet to finish it on that basis. So yeah, that's Hollow Knight. I played that. I completed Yoshi's Woolly World on the Wii U. That is a great game. I really like that one, actually. They've really put a lot of effort into the Woolly World games. They're just a really pretty game and well put together. A lot of fun.
I just want to get that because of how it looks. I keep forgetting to just look out for it when I'm out and about. But now you've mentioned it, and then again, I'm probably going to see if I can try and pick it up because it just looks a beautiful game.
It's like Kirby and the Rainbow Paintbrush. They're just like really pretty games, like overall, and they just look really, really good. So I finished that one, and then because I finished that one, I decided I'd get Yoshi's Crafted World, which I thought would be kind of on a par, but it's just not as good. Again, it looks really good. They're just, the whole world is made out of like, I don't know, cardboard, egg cartons, just bottle caps, things like that. That they're just like they've been made like from like Blue Peter stuff, things like that. But it's not as good a game. That's on the Switch, and yeah, in my opinion, it's just not as good a game like playing it from there. And I played a Wii game for a change. Actually, I played a Wii game.
Oh yeah.
I played Sid Meier's Pirates on the Wii. So that's one that you mentioned in your video, Bear, and I was like, oh, I remember that because I played it on the PC. And I managed to get a copy on the Wii. CES had one copy come in, which I bought. It's not as good as I remember, unfortunately. It's very kind of there is a strategy to kind of fight and things like that. You can like duel with other ships on the high seas and things like that and attack pirates, but yeah, it's not as good as I remember. I did finish it on the PC back in the day, but
was it an Amiga game as well?
Commodore 64, I think.
Was it on that one? The one I played was on the PC. It's on the Xbox as well.
I remember on the PC.
Yeah, I played it on the PC first of all. It was on the Xbox. It's quite cheap on the Xbox, and they had it on the Wii. And they've got like this extra kind of game in where you kind of attack a port and use the Wii remote to like shoot the cannons, so you can use it as a kind of rail shooting game to like shoot the cannons before they shoot the boat. And it's not a bad game by any means, but I just kind of have better memories of it than it actually is. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, and I started Dragon Force again on the Saturn because I'm a glutton for punishment. Got nearly to the end and then lost the save and couldn't play it anymore.
Is that a shmup?
No. Dragon Force is a strategy game. It's is it? I'm gonna say it's a turn-based strategy game, but it kind of isn't.
No.
You have to unite the kind of heads of the land, heads of kingdoms, to then fight against an evil that's kind of rising. And then there's this big bloody robot thing in it for some reason because it's all set kind of medieval times. But it's quite good. You have a strategy of like soldiers, zombies, dragons, samurai warriors, like
it's all in there then.
Yeah, and they have different like strengths against others. Like you have a general who'll command the troops to go in, and the general have extra powers, and you kind of fight off against each other. You can kind of take people's castles, like people come at you and you capture their generals and kind of convert them to your army. It's a really, really good game. It can go on for bloody ages because you have a timer, and within the timer, just anything can happen. Like they can attack you, you can attack them, you have battles, and then just move on from there. So like a round in it can go on for like over an hour. So, but it's a good game. It's a good game. Definitely recommend it. It's probably one of the better Saturn games. But yeah, I think that's all I can probably remember playing. I think I played more, but can't remember what they are.
Loaded?
Yes, I played Loaded. Thank you, Pete. Yeah. Yeah, well, I've done a review on that. You can watch it on my channel if you want it. But don't come across there. Sub to these guys. Sub to like Retro Games Revive and P-Fire 2. Yeah, and Bear as well, I suppose.
Yeah, but you're close. Yeah, thank you, mate. Yeah, but you're quite close now to 300, aren't you? 300 subs. You are knocking on the door.
Yeah.
So if anybody out there who hasn't subscribed to Wraith Retro 1 yet, go and do so, because he's a lovely man. Yeah. And you know, when he puts his videos, you know, he's very knowledgeable, and he picks up some great stuff all over the place. And it's a mixture of modern games and retro games. And honestly, he's one of the nicest people you can come across. So if you haven't subbed to him yet, let's get him over that 300 if he hasn't got there already. If he has done, keep pushing him over that. It'll inspire him to do more videos. And you know, with the guys here tonight, and the other, you know, with Eddie and Rob who aren't here with us tonight, I can't speak highly of these guys' channels. Work really hard to put more together. So go along and show them some love, and I'm sure they'll appreciate it. And it inspires us to do more videos. That's the main thing. Now, I've been playing quite a bit recently. I'm not sure why, because I seem to be more busy outside of sort of like normal, when normal life's busy, and I seem to be playing more and more games, which has never happened before. But since I dragged my Xbox, which I shipped my Xbox years ago, I said this before, all the emulators are on there. I'll just sort of put that on the floor, and just every, you know, sort of 2 or 3 nights, just come upstairs and just playing a lot of Atari 2600, which is going a long, long way back. But yeah, games like Roadrunner, Q*bert. There's a Star Trek game on there I got hooked on. The Star Wars games. Did a video on Frostbite, which is like a platformer. Anybody remembers the game Smurf? Played that as well. And I've recorded some footage, so hopefully I'll do a couple of sort of short gameplay videos on that. There's also my Commodore Corner series, which hasn't stalled. I just haven't done the next video yet. But again, I've been playing a lot of Commodore 64, the old-fashioned way, loading the tapes up and doing it like that. And there's also been what's it there's playing as well? Oh, some random sort of SNES, Master System, Mega Drive games on the emulator as well. So I've been playing quite a bit, but not really playing anything for a huge amount of time. And I think that's probably the way I'm going to sort of do things. I'll sort of dip into things and say, "Oh, I've played it," and have a go at it, and then I'm going to sort of move on and do something else. So I don't know, maybe something will actually hook me enough to make it sit there and sort of play something all the way through. But I think now I'm just trying to just play some games I've heard of, or some games I've had for years, and just have a quick go at them and see what they're like.
Cautionary tale, Mr. Bear. Don't leave your Xbox on the floor.
Why?
Because I tripped over one once, and Jesus, that hurt. My toenail went black. Honestly, it's like kicking a traffic cone. Oh, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, no, where it is, it's sort of out of the way of everything, which is it's actually, for being on the floor, it's in the right place. Because it's all out of the way, so it's okay. I shouldn't leave it on the floor. I don't leave it plugged in. I need to move off the floor eventually.
Do yourself a mischief.
That's it. But yeah, you're right. They are bloody heavy things. I wouldn't like to walk into that. That's for sure.
Try the PS5. It's massive.
Is it lightweight though?
No.
Is it classified a brick, same as the original Xbox though? I mean,
it's a full house. I don't know about a brick.
I was going to say, because the price of cement is going up. Perhaps in the future, what they'll be doing is they'll be tying PS5 to sort of like gangster sort of feet and dropping them into the, you know, sort of canals and things. I don't know.
Can you imagine what a PS5 will like weigh from one that's been in the skag house for ages, where they've been smoking and like the dust is like grimed up in the fan? You need 3 people to lift it.
Oh my goodness me! Yeah,
I love that machine, but it is one of the most huge, ugly things I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I've not actually seen one in sort of properly yet. So,
if you go into space, you'll be able to see mine.
Oh dear, yeah. One of these days, I'll have a look at one of those. Just before we launch into our topic of the week, then, chaps. Is there anything anybody else wants to sort of add about what, you know, sort of gaming wise, or things they've noticed or picked up on, or things that have sort of changed since we were last on? If not, we'll just move on to usual stuff.
It's a bit cryptic. No.
Is it?
Yeah. Sounds like you're staging an intervention.
No, I'll just before we sort of go, we're about halfway through what we usually do anyway. So I thought before we sort of launch in, if not, I'll just shut up and we'll just move on, shall we?
Only thing I can really say is maybe gaming events are starting to open up. Maybe we've got a date for Blackpool, haven't we? So later on in the year, but whether any more come up, before then.
I think
fingers crossed.
I think where else was it? Somewhere else where they've confirmed theirs as well.
Norwich
the market. Norwich market. That's it. I had a look on the Doncaster one, and that's still saying like the end of 2020. So
yeah,
I really hope they get themselves into gear. I hope we're not seeing the end of Doncaster market, because it's the only event really that I will make an effort to go to, and I just love it there.
Well, they've announced Birmingham as well for September, I think it is. I think Nottingham as well. But I just don't know. I mean, it's exciting, these things in the diary, but whether or not they sort of actually happen or not, we just don't know. And people miss the markets, and I think you can sort of sense, the way people are sort of picking stuff up now. It's getting narrower and narrower where you can get stuff from. And there's Facebook, and there's eBay, and there's the independent game shops, and if you're lucky, charity shops. Things like that, if they still got anything in there. But it's getting narrower and harder. Prices are sort of going up, and I don't know. People are missing the markets. They want to sort of get out there and they want to meet gamers. I mean, I know there's been, we've been talking to each other so long over the formats, whether it's through StreamYard or whatever, or these podcasts or however we've been doing it in the last sort of 2 years, 16 months or so now. People just want to get around and to meet people. I mean, I was lucky enough to meet a couple of people about a month ago now, near enough. But we've never still all been in the same room together.
No, it's still not been 6 of us together. That's what I was about to say.
Yeah. That's a weird one, isn't it? We thought by now we'd have done something like that, but no, it just hasn't happened.
It's not been allowed, have we, really?
No. And what worries me is all these game markets, all the people's going to go to are going to meet other YouTubers they haven't seen for ages and not buy anything.
All the stall holders
what's going on?
Standing around talking, drinking.
We'll be trying to entice gamers into the sort of the hall with sort of expensive games for a £5. Come on now, £5, honestly, for £5. Come on here.
Well, it's all right because it's all right because if you stand and talk to Dangster while he is on a stall, he just ends up giving you stuff for free. So
you owe me.
And that's after you've knocked him all over.
That's after
he holds a grudge, that man, honestly. We went to see his lock-up a couple of weeks ago, and within 30 seconds of he always gets a mention, Big Game Allard being in there, he managed to knock 2 monitors over. One fell on his head, and I was immediately concerned. I said, "Is the monitor all right?" Well, yeah, and Al's a great guy, but all the people that's happened to, you just couldn't have written it any better. So let's hope we get these game markets or events or things organised. Fingers crossed. But yes,
it's on a tipping point again, isn't it?
Yeah.
So realistically, I could possibly get to Nottingham, but I don't know. It's like, with having no travel, it's difficult to get any further out than Doncaster for me. So
when is that penciled in for, Pete?
I have no idea.
Nothing. I think possibly July might be one of the first ones they're doing. I don't know.
I've got a week off in July.
You'll have to read up on that.
The Norwich one is a little bit better. Last time I went, it was quite small. It was the first time they did it, and then obviously went lockdown. So, yeah.
That's what they've done with Birmingham. They've moved it around the corner to a bigger venue because it was just too small. The last one, it was too small to get in there.
Wasn't it in the custard factory?
Yeah, the custard factory. The factory where they used to make custard. They don't make custard.
Happily named then.
Yeah, right next door to the shit factory, which Right, I was going to something else. I can't remember. I was going to go to Sean talking about new maps being launched and things like that. Is Verdansk actually a place or not? Or
yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah, it's full of
I just
zombies.
wonder-
We're not listening.
Yeah, no, I just wonder why sometimes I just don't like pull them as obscure map, look like Barnsley or something like that.
Yeah, Doncaster's in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, yes,
they
it
do,
is.
yeah. I'm not actually sure, to be honest. I mean, Pete says it is, but I don't know. There's certain parts of it that are influenced from Soviet Russia. So, but
Well, you should know. You spent enough time there, haven't you, Reece? That place like the
You
back
do a
of your
tour
hand.
of it.
Yes.
I'm sure it is a real place, but I've just googled it, and all I'm getting is Call of Duty. So,
okay.
I think they're based on real places, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right. Well, that's probably at that point to turn it over to what we're talking about this week, then, isn't it? Really, 'cause we're still arguing on about that, and we're recording this a few days before. This is going out on what would be. I'm just trying to remember the 77th anniversary of D-Day, which was the liberation of Europe in the Second World War. A subject I know an awful lot about because I'd covered that subject a great deal at school and sort of through A levels as well. But we thought, obviously, because Sean plays a lot of sort of games like that, and we thought it might be just a good idea and sort of poignant and convenient just to sort of just look at some games in the past or sort of have tied around the theme of war. And I don't want to sort of trivialise it or glorify or anything like that. We're just talking about games here, and just sort of things from the past that we remember. And regardless of whether they are first-person shooters, whether they're arcade conversions, whether they're original games. And the first sort of couple I can think of that immediately spring to mind are games like Commando, Beachhead, and the Rambo First Blood Part 2, which was probably one of the earliest ones I remember as well. But with sort of games like that and how they've evolved over time and even into sort of like strategy games and things on the theme of sort of warfare. I mean, my favourite series of all time is the Medal of Honor series on the PlayStation 1. Now, it sort of, I can see where Call of Duty took over that series and pushed on from there, but Medal of Honor to me was, when it first came out, it was absolutely brilliant. Sort of, not only was it sort of atmospheric and sort of based around real events, historical events, it was just incredibly immersive, and it sort of drew you in straight away. And I love that series, and it really pained me to see it sort of fall off the side quite badly later on. And then, no, nothing against the Call of Duty games, but they sort of took over from that. But it basically sort of killed the series off. Earliest memories of playing sort of like games based around warfare, guys?
Cannon Fodder. Absolutely love Cannon Fodder.
Yeah.
The best theme tune of any game ever. Bears off to find something.
No, pin a fan on it.
Grenade. Yeah, I used to play Cannon Fodder so much on the Amiga, and I never really clicked with Cannon Fodder 2, but absolutely loved it. Still get that theme tune in my head. The war's never been so much fun. One.
Yeah.
The opening sequence. Yeah. I like the opening sequence where they'd like all the people. Was it Sensible Software?
Sensible
like
Software,
superimposed everybody into like old war photos and stuff. Gives me goosebumps actually thinking about that game.
Yeah.
Again, it's coming to the Evercade very soon, but it's going to be the Mega Drive version, which I'm not too pleased about. But what can you do? There's no mouse and keyboard for an Evercade, so. But yeah, once I get the old Amiga up and running, that's going to be one of the first games I go to. Because I just loved it so much. We had it for the PC as well, but it just didn't feel the same. I don't know why.
Isn't it? No, I'm with you on that. I love Cannon Fodder as well. Really easy to get into as well on Amiga. I think using mouse, won't it be?
Left button to go, right button to shoot.
Move. Yeah. So easy to use, really user-friendly interface. So, what a fun game.
I never played it. I never played it on the Amiga when it came out because it just didn't appeal to me at the time. I thought, that's not my sort of game at all. I probably should even find myself a copy of it somewhere and give it a go, but it just didn't appeal to me at the time.
I've only played it recently myself, and And I don't think I got very far. I got to, I think, a level where you've got like snow drifts and you got to blow up like the enemy buildings, but I don't think I did too well on it. But yeah, it is a really fun game, and it's a really simple one to kind of like get into and play. Definitely a really good fun game strategy wise.
I think at the time for me, it's because I was like really into stuff like lemmings and worms. It's like the really tiny little micro sprites really appealed to me, but no, it's just such a good game and really dark when you think about it, because there's like stuff where you could just like wound the enemies and they'd just sit there bleeding, and, like, screaming. And you could either put them out of misery or just leave them to die. But it was like a protest game as well, about like protesting about war as well as playing part of it. So,
one of my favourite Amiga games was Wings. I think you ever played that as well.
Paul McCartney?
No. It was a World War One flight game, but it was done by Cinemaware. So you automatically sort of think, sort of big flash graphics and sound effects and things like that. But it was based around World War One sort of dogfighting, and you sort of signed up as a pilot and you followed it all the way through. And if you sort of died during the course of it, you could always, re-enlist another pilot. And you sort of get this really sort of somber thing where it's sort of like a sort of tombstone of all your names you put in, and sort of comes up at the end of the game, all the people who died and how long they were there for.
It's the same as cannon fodder as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but
little graves, aren't they?
But I tell you something. I've never really ever got into sort of flight simulator games, and it's in the simulator. It's an arcade game. But for some reason, I was just drawn into this, and it's absolutely brilliant. I haven't played it for years. It's a game which commands a fair bit of coin as well nowadays, if you've got a copy of it. But if you can find a way of playing it, I thoroughly recommend it. I think they tried to do a sort of a fan-based remake a few years back, which I'm not sure whether it was any good or not. I don't know. But definitely one worth tracking down, because it's a great storyline through it. And you were doing either dogfighting missions, or you're taking out barrage balloons, or you're doing a strafing mission, which moved to an isometric view. You remember Zaxxon? That sort of like type view. Yeah. But from rather going left to right, it was right to left. And you just sort of strafe up and down, shooting trucks and supply tents. And all. Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic stuff. It really was.
What was it called again? Wings. Well, that's going to bring up quite a lot of debate, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of course, on the Commodore.
It's worth tracking down if you can do. It's absolutely brilliant.
Commodore Amiga, is it?
That's the one.
It'd be the ideal game to bring out on the KFC console.
Feed me chicken.
I've been sat here trying to figure out a Band on the Run joke, and I just can't get it in anywhere.
No, I can't think of anything either.
I was hoping you'd say you have to like flee from people, so I could say, "Oh, you could be a Band on the Run," then. But no.
You can say that one for next time. We'll try and work that one in again.
I'm going to bring wings into it again, though.
Well,
you used to for a jet. Yay.
Xbox game, Wings of War. We could talk about that. What other games were there when we were sort of that sort of era? I'm just trying to remember. Anybody ever keen on that sort of strategy type game? Because I remember playing a game called, I think it was either Theatre Europe or Conflict Europe. I can't remember. Which is sort of like a strategy game based around like a nuclear war. Which again, not my sort of thing at all. But I've sort of got quite into it.
Yeah, them kind of games, I've tended to stay away from, thinking that they're probably a bit too intelligent for me. But if I had a go, I'd probably really get into them.
I can't do strategy games. I've not got the mind for it. Even down to like strategic RPGs, I can't do it.
On that note, Command and Conquer then.
I was just going to say that's where we're going in that direction.
I used to watch my dad play Dune 2 on the Amiga, and he'd play it for hours, and I just could not get my head around it. But he seemed to love that. But that was my first real taste of strategy games. And again, the friend who used to play games and let us watch, he used to play Command and Conquer a lot, which probably also contributed to me hating strategy games. But no, I just can't do them. Cannot do them.
My dad used to play Gettysburg a lot on the Amiga because he was an American Civil War enthusiast. That's what he still is. But he made this big song and dance about once we got the Amiga, I need to go and get this guy and find this game from somewhere. And he'd sit there for hours playing. He's never been into games ever. That's the only game I've ever seen him sit down and play properly.
So my dad didn't play many games, but he was the same. He'd sit and play Dune 2 for ages. But it was like that, and I think it was Deluxe Pac-Man, which was like a public domain version of Pac-Man. And then another public domain game called Transplant, which was like sort of asteroids, but instead of moving around the screen moved around you. And those were the only 3 games that he would ever play. And when my mum threw away our Amiga, which I still not forgiven her for, he tracked down a copy of Dune 2 on the PC and just carried on playing. He learned how to use DOSBox just to play that game, and I have no idea how you use DOSBox.
Yeah, it's strange. Yeah, how they get into games like that, I really don't know. But
tell you what I used to like. It was a PC game, Commandos, was it?
Yes. I thought of that before we did this.
Yeah.
Hang on. Might have it somewhere.
That Commandos, you say?
Commandos, yeah.
Yes, I know the one about. Yeah.
My memory's pretty vague on it, but I don't remember.
I don't remember playing that.
Is it a bit like Cannon Fodder type, and you have to move your characters about, but I think it's more. Yeah, I think strategic based, isn't it, than arcade?
I know of 3 games called Commandos. 2 of them were like sort of late 80s, early 90s arcade games, and then one of them was like on the original Xbox, where it was like a Just Cause kind of thing. So
it's not the Leisure Suit Larry one.
No, that's going. Is that Going Commando or something? Ask Geordie Slasher Game, and he loves his Leisure Suit Larry games. He'll know.
It's annoying me now because I've got that Commandos game. I'm trying to find it.
On the PC?
Yes, I have.
PC games, going to have a look. Or just got Nath Retro is now scanning through his PC games to see. And he's got a copy of Battlefield.
Is that on PC, that name?
1942, yeah, Battlefield 1942.
Yeah, I'm actually like looking through for the finest game for it. But
and everything else good.
I can't believe there's no love for the strategy games here, because when you were talking about like strategy, Command and Conquer Generals, I spent probably a year playing that, and I put it on the hardest difficulty, and I play with like the American Laser General. Then he fell over, just against the, I don't know what they called them now, the kind of Arab ones. And I played it on like a map where you could have 8 enemies, and I faced off against 8 enemy armies in like one. It took absolutely bloody ages, and you had to time everything to perfection, but I managed to beat that. That was amazing. That was when my graphics card, if you tried to save the game mid-game, it couldn't open it up because there's too many sprites on screen. It would just go fall over and crash. So I played it for like an evening and got about halfway through a mission and tried to load it. It was like, nope, not having it. But no, that's fantastic.
Which Command and Conquer game was the one that had Tim Curry in it?
Oh,
cutscenes. I think it was the same one that had Jenny McCarthy in as well. I think it was Red Alert 3.
Was that Command and Conquer Congo?
Command and Congo.
Yeah.
Bongo. They drink it in the Congo.
No, there's a scene with Tim Curry in one of the Command and Conquer games, a cutscene, and I think he messes up his lines or something, and everyone falls about laughing, and it actually ended up in the game, and I think they put the wrong file in or something. It ended up in the game.
Shocking.
Yeah.
And they call us unprofessional.
They call us a lot of things.
Yes, they do.
Going back to Commandos, they're actually, it's on PS2 as well. Commandos 2 and Commandos Strike Force, same type of game.
That's it. You got some there.
Hey, Commandos.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Cost me £2 that.
You mentioned that era, the PlayStation 2 games, and I mean, there's so many first-person shooters on that and the Xbox, and that was the year it sort of came out. And
Yeah.
The full spectrum Warrior games, the Medal of Honor games, the Call of Duty games. Was it the Viet Cong Purple Haze? I think.
Yeah.
So many. I just sort of associate that era with that sort of genre of game. I mean, at the time I was playing Medal of Honor Allied Assault on PC, which is an amazing game. Oh, he's got a big. They're showing us his big collection of Battlefield games.
Battlefield.
You said we wouldn't do this, but
yes. But yeah, I just remember spending hours playing those games, and then the Conflict series started. You got Conflict Desert Storm and Conflict Desert Storm 2 and Conflict Global Storm and all those sort of things. And there was a SOCOM games as well on the PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
There's just so many of them.
You see, you said you played Medal of Honor on the PS1, didn't you?
Yes. Yes.
See, I never played it on the PS1. I started the Medal of Honor on the PS2. And I was absolutely blown away when I first found that, when I first come across it. Like you say, it's so atmospheric. I think my favourite is The Rising Sun one.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like that one.
Yes, that's the one.
One of the worst.
yeah, surprisingly, a lot don't.
The atmosphere to it.
The first one, the first one on the PS1 though is special. It really is. It's the level where that always sticks in my head is the one where you're infiltrating the train station and you've got the papers that you have to show to the Nazis. Yes. Absolutely, just you've never seen anything like that in a game before.
No, that's right.
But I remember after that one, and was it Underground, the second one?
Yes. That's where you're inspired in that second one.
Yeah, it's virtually the same game, but it's sort of like obviously different storyline and everything, but it plays and looks exactly the same. But I remember going to my sister's house, and her roommate at the time had a decent PC setup for the time, and he had the one, is it Allied Assault on the PC?
That's the one. Yeah.
And watching, I mean, obviously adapted the first level for the PS2 Frontline game, but that Normandy Assault blew my mind. Yeah. It was just mental, and it's even like in a fairly early sort of PC FPS. The PS2 version. I mean, it was good for what the PS2 could do, but it paled in comparison to that PC one. It was just so like the surround sound and everything all around you. Just absolutely blew my mind.
Absolutely spot on with that. Because I remember playing the PlayStation 2 version and being distinctly unimpressed with that first level. Because I spent nearly 3 hours trying to get off that PC level myself. and I've got by the time I got speakers set up and it like the stereo sound around there, and I turned it right up as well. And no word of lie, no disrespect to anybody who's relatively involved in that, but it actually felt like I was actually on the beach trying to get off the damn thing to get up and up to the checkpoint for the next level, because just the intensity of it, all the sound effects, and the soldiers shouting to each other, people getting blown up next to it. It just felt like I'm actually
unbelievable
there.
I think one of them, was it Rising Sun, the one where you start on the beach? It's one of the beaches. Is that Rising Sun?
Rising Frontline.
Oh, yeah, the Frontline, isn't it?
I think I just remember like on the PlayStation 2, just like running between the like barricade, just like dodging bullets, and they just couldn't hit me, the Germans. I was like, oh, that's not good, is it? Shoot like stormtroopers, these Germans.
Rising Sun was the one that started Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
So you
that's right.
And then you come out of that, and then you have to sort of like jump on the back of a gunboat and trying to shoot planes out of the sky. But again, a lot of people don't like that game. When it came out, it got really sort of bad reviews.
Didn't it?
But I think it was a good game.
I didn't mind it. I don't think I ever finished it. I think I'd kind of got a bit bored of it by that point. But I did really like Frontline. But like I said, that first one was just special. It really was.
Yeah.
There's two things I remember distinctly about Medal of Honor. One, I think, was one of the first Medal of Honors where you're running through the trenches, like shooting the Germans. You've got a trench level where you're just running through the trenches shooting them. And it's very linear, but it's very well done. And there's another one I remember, which is on the PlayStation 2, and I don't remember the game, but you're in a German house, and hidden in one of the cuckoo clocks is like some paper. And you have to go around, shoot all the Germans, and like shoot all the cuckoo clocks, which was absolutely freaking annoying because I couldn't find this flipping cuckoo clock, and I got motion sickness like running around this flipping house. I had to turn the game off. I was like, I had enough of this. Like, look, I shot everyone in the whole blimmin' manor. I can't find this flipping cuckoo clock with like papers in. I can't remember which game it is. Oh,
Yeah.
that was so annoying.
And then, and after Medal of Honor, we got Call of Duty come along, didn't we, as well? And
Yeah.
seem to do everything a bit bigger and a bit better.
Yeah. They had the foot on ball. Did Activision? Was it Activision that started it?
I think
No,
so.
Activision have it
The
now.
publisher,
don't
didn't
they?
they?
I can't remember.
It's Infinity Ward, wasn't it? Who actually developed the first one? I think.
I don't know.
See, the first Call of Duty games, I didn't really think much of, like the first ones.
They really like hit the nail on the head when they moved it to Modern Warfare. That's when it really kicked off.
Yeah.
That was the one that sort of up the trajectory and sort of set the benchmark. And after that, really, that was the end for Medal of Honor. But you got all this. You got Battlefield series as well, and there's been the Sniper Elite series and things like that, which have sort of come out set around. That I don't know what it is. It's about sort of, I guess it's the historic aspect of it, but I know one of the biggest criticisms the Medal of Honor series got was it refused to come out of this World War II.
World War II, yeah.
Whereas Call of Duty, after a couple of games on the Xbox and PlayStation 2, decided that they would sort of move into the modern era. And I don't know if that's whether that's right or not. I don't know, but because everything's historically accurate, or they're trying to make it history, that sort of game has been exceedingly popular. And when Call of Duty actually went back to the World War II game on the PlayStation 4, that sold a boatload of copies when it came out.
II.
Yeah.
Even now,
Medal of Honor. Sorry, Nick.
No, I was going to say that's still a cheap game. Call of Duty World War II, isn't it? That's the one you're on about. Yeah, that didn't blow me away, but I always preferred the like World War I, World War II kind of games. They just play better. Sorry, Sean. I get you going.
No, I was just saying, Medal of Honor. It did come out of the World War II series with Warfighter on the PS3, and that is a brilliant game. It really is, and it just stopped after that. It just stopped. They didn't make any more, and I think it's a shame.
It didn't sell too well, though, did it? I think it was a case of like too little, too late after all the Modern Warfare games and stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I think it was because he just didn't attract the audience it needed, and they decided that would be the last one altogether. And I hope they leave it like that. I don't know, try and resurrect it again because
didn't they end up going back to World War II after that? I'm sure they did.
I know Call of Duty did. Call of Duty World War II.
I thought there was another Medal of Honor game over in World War I or II, but
I don't think there was. I think that was it. I think Airborne came out before that. I think they tried to go back to World War II in a big release with Medal of Honor Airborne, but
was that on the Wii?
No, there's two games on the Wii, which is Vanguard and No More, and is it Heroes?
Yeah, they're in a double pack, aren't they? It's in a double pack.
Yeah, there's
wasn't No More Heroes, so that's very different.
Road to something.
Yeah, Heroes 2 was the other one. And actually, to be fair, they are pretty good games. They are very good games.
I've heard they're really good games.
And we sort of skip
the Brothers in Arms games on the Wii are supposed to be really good as well.
Yeah, I'll just skip through those
games. Yeah.
I remember
Do we
playing
think that's just the way games are going now, then that people just prefer kind of modern like war games as prefer to, the World War II ones? Because the last Call of Duty I saw, everyone was wearing like, pink like camouflage and stuff, and I was like, what the hell is
that's
that?
the Fortnite effect, though, isn't it? It's everyone's about customizing the characters now and being like outlandish.
Yellow haircuts, and
we've said exactly the same. Sometimes the skins that they're offering there are ridiculous. But like you say, I mean, it's going to make them money, isn't it? All these packs that you can buy with these ridiculous outfits.
Well, that's how they can afford to release the stuff for free, isn't it? Like the Warzone thing.
Yeah.
They'll make the money other ways.
I mean, that's sort of like modern. Sort of. I said Nay said there earlier, and I think Sean said as well. I'm pretty sure we'll be in agreement with this. He's that sort of the World War II style is what we want to sort of play. But I don't know if that's because we grew up playing that game or whatever. I mean, I played some of the more modern versions of certain things, and but I don't like the look of the you know, I know, Sean, you put a lot of time in a Call of Duty at the moment, but that just doesn't interest me in the slightest.
No.
So the only thing that really interests me is when you drop out the parachute at the start of the game, and I just want to let the fire button go and just pull the parachute and see what happens.
Splat.
That's it. That's the best thing about it, as far as I'm concerned. But I don't know.
I wouldn't necessarily say that the World War II format is dead, because I do believe they are releasing another one this year, Call of Duty, another World War II based one. I think it may be the follow-up to the last one.
Oh, right, yeah.
So I don't think there's any hard evidence as yet, but there's definitely rumours going around that is the next Call of Duty release. So, yeah, like I said, the World War II format ain't dead yet.
And I suppose, really, as we get further on in time, that sort of era gets further and further back. So if you think about when Medal of Honor first came out, which probably would have been sort of, I'm guessing, 97, something like that. World War II, sort of 50 years gone. It's still reasonably sort of fresh in mind. Now here we are in 2021. In another 20 years' time, it's going to be 100 years since World War II broke out. Possibly these may be sort of the last games coming out if they are doing that.
Yeah. I mean, the last Call of Duty World War II game, it had a really good storyline. It had brilliant acting. So, it's, even though you may not like the World War II format, the storyline's still good. The graphics were beautiful. And, the Call of Duty gameplay, first-person shooter, is there. So I think it's hard not to like it. I mean, obviously, people do like modern, the modern guns, that kind of thing. But no, I still think the World War II's got a place in first-person shooters, definitely. Yeah.
So here's a question for you guys. And has anyone actually played like kind of first-person shooters on the PC, or do you just play them on console?
I used to play. This is not like a war kind of thing, but the last first-person shooter I really put any time into on the PC was the original Team Fortress. So we're going back a long way.
Wow, that was a while. When was that?
It was. It was my friend, the same friend who I mentioned earlier. He was the only one of us who had the internet. So.
What a guy.
Yeah. Hi, Dave, if you're listening. He was the only one who had the internet, so we used to go, like, when he let us play games, we used to play stuff like Team Fortress and that, and I used to play tons of that, but it's not really, I mean, it is war, but it's not like historical war. It's not, it's sci-fi, so it doesn't really fall into the category, but yeah, I used to play that a lot, but I always prefer a controller to a mouse and keyboard.
See, I really preferred them on the PC. I think when I was playing these games, I showed the guys earlier, like Battlefield, like this original Battlefield series into Battlefield 2. I just pumped so many hours into that, playing people online. I think that's where trolling started, really. Just remember, like, trolling people and playing that game. Yeah, I started it. Well, to be fair, it started on me. Because in Battlefield, you can, like, do anything. If there's a tank, you can drive it. If it's an anti-aircraft gun, you can shoot down planes with it. If there's a plane and it's a jet, you can fly it. You have no idea how to fly it, but you can fly it anyway. And so I took this jet, and I was flying around with it. I'm like, this is quite good. And there's another jet. I'm like, oh, I'll shoot him. And I accidentally flew into him. And it allocated me the kill, and he started getting all gobby at me. He's like, "Oh, you can't even dogfight." And I just said to him, "Yeah, but your mum can."
I'm sure you said that before, but it is amazing comeback.
Absolutely, everyone just ripped into him. So yeah, you heard it here first. That's where it started, trolling. But no, I just found it so much easier with a mouse and a keyboard, so like the aiming and things like that. It just is easier with a mouse, I found. I mean, like, first-person shooters, they really did it well on PlayStation with the original, like, what did you say, Bear? When you said Medal of Honor,
Medal of
Yeah.
Honor.
that was really good. But the aiming on it was a lot of auto aim. If you got like PC, you use a mouse, you've got to like kind of aim it yourself. I found it more immersive, which is strange because you would think a controller's kind of better suited for it, but it just worked better for a PC for myself.
A lot of people still do prefer mouse and keyboard, but it's
Yeah.
just something I never really clicked on.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
Clicked on, Jesus.
Yeah, like you didn't mean that on purpose.
Generally, it went straight over my head, though.
Your own joke.
My own joke, yeah. That's how ahead of the game I am. I don't even see my own punchlines coming. Well, we're on Battlefield. My wife's uncle used to go on about his PC setup, about being the best PC setup in the world. And he always used to go on about playing 1942 all the time. And how it ran perfect on his PC, and he had the greatest PC setup and everything. And in my head, because he just said 1942, I was thinking top-down, shoot 'em up.
Yeah.
So I was like, why's he got this amazing PC setup just to play like an old 2D arcade game? But moving on to that, the 1940 series, technically war games, and they're amazing.
Battlefield 1942, is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's what he was playing, but I thought he meant just 1942, the arcade game. But yeah, they are technically war games, and they are really good games. I don't know if anybody else has played much of those.
No,
Battlefield or top down?
Top down ones.
They were quite tricky games, those, weren't they?
Yeah. All shoot 'em ups are.
I'm sure it was a Flying Shark as well. That was another one which was probably
Fire Shark as well.
Flying Shark.
Yeah, they did Fire Sharks on the Mega Drive.
Oh right, yeah. Sorry.
Flying Shark and then Fire Shark.
And Scramble Spirits as well.
Oh yeah, I played that one.
Yeah, it's all different sort of genre game. Yeah,
I think I've spoke about it before, but I like the sort of like World War II aesthetic mixed with like futuristic stuff, or even sometimes you get occult stuff in like films and stuff like that. I really like that kind of like mishmash of stuff. And when you're playing like 1942, obviously there's like these massive, huge warplanes and stuff. Just really captured my imagination like that. It's really love the series.
They made an awful lot of different genres over it, and it said strategy games. And I dare say that there was one game on the Amiga which somebody actually asked me to mention, which was the Lost Patrol. If anybody remembers that one, which was based on the Vietnam War. And that was an ocean game, and it sort of mixed sort of strategy with sort of action sequences and some sort of full motion stuff as well. I've only ever seen somebody play it, never played it myself, but it was a really sort of strange game that came out about it. But again, we've had all sorts of games based around that, Vietnam and
Platoon. Platoon's a good game.
The Desert Storm series was obviously based around the conflict in Iraq, and it's just all sorts of different styles of games from all sorts of different eras, and they're still being made now. And it'd be interesting that Call of Duty game that comes out, because I bought World War II purely on the base of watching sort of the start of the game. And I thought, oh, that's really good. That does. I might buy that. And I haven't played it yet.
You play it?
I only paid £3.
You'd really enjoy it.
I only paid £3 for it, but I thought, I really want to buy this game. I think I'll try this game. This will, reinvigorate my love of first-person shooters. And nope, still sat in the pile.
I think the last COD game I played was Ghosts, actually. So not far behind you there. I really want to play though. I really want to play. I know it's police and it's not war, but I really want to play Battlefield Hardline. I've just never seen it for the right price. I just think it looks interesting. It's like the same. It's a Battlefield game, but you're a policeman or a criminal or something, or like one or the two. I think it's like London police as well. So it's like stuff you're used to seeing on the streets, and that it just captures my imagination. But I've never seen it for the right price.
No, I've never heard of that one. All right.
I'd heard of it. I didn't realise it was a police-based game.
It might not be UK.
It's just on Battlefield. It was war.
No, it's cops and robbers.
Right.
Oh yeah, Battlefield Hardline. I recognise that one. Yeah, I've never seen it about. It's one you probably see at boot sales and stuff like that, but I just wouldn't recognise it to see.
I'd seen it about in like CEX and stuff like that, but it was always like a few, like saying it was sort of £4 or £5 and a bit more than I would pay for a game like that. But come to think of it, I think it's on Game Pass, so I might actually try it.
That's one you're missing from your Battlefield collection, Nathan.
I just actually found some because I quickly put into Google about Battlefield 1942, and apparently people are still playing it online in 2021, which is amazing because that was released, I think, in 2002. So nearly a 20-year-old game. So it shows that people still love games like that, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Because Battlefield 2, when I used to play that, there was just loads of free servers, and you didn't have to pay anything for it. It's before, paid kind of subscriptions to game. I don't even think that was PlayStation 2 time as well. So really, like PC online gaming was kind of the thing. But yeah, that is amazing to see that people are still playing that game like nearly 20 years on.
How are they still playing it online then?
I don't know. I didn't open the video.
Witchcraft?
I think it's called servers.
Yeah, they'll be like fan-run servers, won't they?
Yeah.
Is there a railway station you have to go to and jump through the platforms?
Do you think that, like,
Harry Potter?
I got it.
In a war game? No, I know what he means. I was just like, tenuous.
Oh, right. Yeah, but I've had these mystical servers running a 20-year-old game.
Oh, witchcraft.
Oh, God, he's out of practice.
It's like Pete's joke. Sorry, Sean, what were you going to say?
Yeah, sorry,
I was just saying, do you think like modern day or future of gaming is more like battle royale based? I think we're seeing a lot more online games turn battle royale rather than. I mean, are we going to see, the storyline of getting campaign modes fizzle out, and
I think you're right.
Games released just for the battle royale element of it?
That was something I was really worried about. So around when the PS3 and the 360 were first coming out, because everything was moving online, I was kind of worried as a single-player gamer. I was worried that I was just going to get phased out of gaming. But I'm glad that the single-player experience still exists. With regards to Battle Royale, I think it's something else will take over, because a few years back everything was horde modes. So I do think something else will take over. But I think with like the rise of like Twitch and streaming games and stuff, and the fact that kids will watch that kind of thing on YouTube.
Yeah.
The free sort of Warzone downloads, like free downloads, are a stupidly good way of doing things, because kids who don't have the expendable cash can take part in these games. And obviously kids all want to, shoot at their friends at school, so we'll stay away from that one, actually.
Yeah. First episode back.
Oh, jeez. Game Boy Classic.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just a really good business model to do that kind of thing, because kids can play with all their friends and do it for free, and the people on Twitch are doing it as well, because obviously they've not had to pay for the game, so the kids are watching the Twitch videos and stuff. I just think it's a really good business model. As far as the gameplay goes, I think it will get phased out for something else when something else comes along. But the business model of releasing free versions of just multiplayer games, I think that's definitely the future.
Yeah, that's it. It's just bubblegum for the eyes, isn't it, really? I mean, your Fortnites and things like that are where it is now, with free games that people will just buy skins for. You can just get the game for nothing and just download the skins, and it is where kind of modern gaming is going. I don't know if it will move on to something else or just evolve from there, because that seems to be very much where things are going. I mean, nobody can deny how Fortnite has just kind of taken over things, which I've seen it played. I don't think a lot of it. I think I'm kind of so detached from like modern
Old.
gaming in that respect. I just don't. Yeah, old. Yeah, it's probably not a bad way to put it. Like the kids would say, I'm so detached from like modern gaming in that sense. I've got no interest in like streaming and like streaming FIFA or Fortnite or something like that. But some dens do it. So.
Because apparently Black Ops Cold War, the campaign, it was a really short game. So,
They always are, though. So I said the last one I played was Ghosts. My friends I used to work with used to buy every COD game when it came out. And he would literally lend me the game for a weekend, and I'd do the campaign and give it him back, and then I didn't have to pay for it. But it's like I did that with Ghosts. He would bought the game on release day. He was going out that night, so he wasn't interested in playing it. So he just passed it to me. I took it home, finished it in one sitting, and took it back to him the next day. Because it was only like a 3.5 hour game.
That's shocking.
So it's not a sign that the developers are, well, his main aim is the battle royale, the war zone. Let's just cobble a game together, a quick game, and just to throw in, just to say we've got a campaign. So it's not a case of that then, Pete. They just are relatively short, are they?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like I'm not saying the campaign is kind of like an afterthought to the multiplayer. The multiplayer is where the main the meat and potato is, but the campaigns are really good and really cinematic, and like obviously they've got people like Kevin Spacey and people like that to play characters in the things, paying big money people to do it. But they are really just a little bit of fluff, they're the veg on the side of the steak, aren't they? So, yeah, but it's the smart way of doing it, because that's where people come back to the game, is to play the multiplayer, and the campaign's just sort of a one and done. But the campaign was all I was interested in, so.
I think you need that single player there. You need something to go with the game, because you've said not everybody's going to go online and play it, and that sort of thing doesn't appeal to me. And there were a couple of games that you could sort of play that sort of online mode. Mag was one, I think, on the PlayStation 3, which was just designed to sort of like giant 100 man aside sort of battle map type thing games, and it just doesn't appeal to me in the slightest. And you need that single player on there. I mean, I'll go back to playing something like GoldenEye, because it was a first person shooter, and everybody used to sort of, sit down and play GoldenEye 4-player and all that. I was far more interested in wanting to sit there and play the single player game. And it was only years later when I did, I thought, this is really good. I actually really enjoy this game. So I think you do need that there. You've got to be able to create a single player game, and then you need that the multiplayer there. You've got to cater to both parties. You can't just cater to one now without the other.
No.
Well, that killed that stone.
So then, to change the subject, have we got like a war game that we absolutely hate, or a war game that we think is just really poor or hasn't aged well at all? Can we name one?
That's a good question. We all now frantically looking around our games rooms for people.
Except me.
I'm not even in my games room. I did want to correct myself earlier when we were talking about Commandos, and I said there was one on the original Xbox. What I was actually thinking was Mercenaries, so it's completely different. And also Verdansk is based on Donetsk, so it's not a real place, but it's based on a real place.
It's like
doing a bit of Googling.
Man, I can't think of any.
No, I can't.
Well, that's cool.
That's it. Yeah. Nice stumped us. Wow.
I was going to say Delta Force. I found that game so poor on the PC.
I'm sure there's a couple I can think of, but I just can't place them.
No.
What about what's it called now? The really violent one on the Dreamcast. Soldier of Fortune.
Yes, that's it.
Yes,
that is a terrible game.
I've only ever played the 360 one, and it was awful but brilliant.
I tried to play that one on the Dreamcast not so long actually, and I picked up my save game from years back, and I don't know how to get any further. There's a room with just a guy with body armor with 2 flame rocket launchers, and I can't get past him. I can't open the door. I can't move. I'm just like running around being like, No idea what to do. That was bad. It was just.
Was there anything special about Soldier of Fortune Gold Edition? Because I've got Gold Edition on the PlayStation too, but I don't think there's anything special about it.
They just called it that from the Dreamcast.
It was probably just sort of like a little bit better looking than the Dreamcast version or something. I don't know.
Lies.
Soldier of Fortune Gold Edition.
What's that, Sean?
What are you?
He's looking it up.
Fortune?
Soldier of Fortune.
Oh yeah, I've got it as well. Yeah. I never realised.
Yep, I agree. That was a pretty poor game.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was just fun because it was so violent. But I remember on the 360 one, I ended up getting to an escort mission and couldn't get any further because the person I was escorting had just run into bullets. But that really ruined it for me.
Escorting a lemming.
Yeah, essentially it was. I don't like escort missions anyway. I feel like they've come on a lot with like games like The Last of Us and stuff like that. But back then, when your escort could die and seemed to want to die, it ruined things for me. But the violence and everything was just over the top and really just mental. It was crazy.
18 that game as well. Yes.
Yeah, first person. Yeah.
Oh,
but the controls on the Dreamcast, because it's a single stick, are
dear,
clunky at best.
Oh dear.
Like yeah.
It's like face buttons to move forward and side to side, and the left stick to turn. It was just like, yeah.
It's reversed, isn't it? Yeah. You should be aiming with the other one, but it's back to front. So
most first person shooters on the Nintendo 64 were like that as well. It was just happened to be the rare ones like GoldenEye and Perfect Dark just seemed to really nail it. I don't know why other ones didn't use their control scheme.
You know about things like Turok.
Yeah, Turok and like Quake 64 and Doom 64 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right then, are we sort of finished with that then? We happy we've covered that subject reasonably well? Anybody want to add anything before we wrap it up?
We can't not mention Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein
Is that
3D.
Bloody Alsatians.
Yeah.
German Shepherds.
Wolfenstein, yeah.
What on earth?
Wolfenstein 3D.
We were bound to miss one out, weren't we? We were bound to miss one.
Yeah.
I was kept thinking about it, but there's never a time to kind of shoehorn it into conversation, really.
The modern games,
Nazis. Yeah.
The modern games are really good, but I feel like the way we've been talking, probably the original like Wolfenstein 3D is probably it's got to get at least an honourable mention because it's just.
Oh, it has to, yeah.
Hitler with Gatling gun.
Everything. Yeah, Mecha Hitler, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's like a big robot with Hitler's head on it, I think.
Gatling guns for arms, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I did have Return to Castle Wolfenstein as well. They released on the PC, but I never really got into it.
I've got that on the PS2. Despite being called Return to Castle Wolfenstein, that was actually a reboot. So that's one that technically started the current series it's around now. Even though they're sort of standalone, they still follow on from Return to Castle Wolfenstein. There's like characters that go over. It's a really good series. Apart from the Youngblood, I think it was the multiplayer one. Avoid that like the plague, but the other ones are really well worth playing if anyone can pick them up and have a go.
Wolfenstein 3D is where it's at. Best graphics, best gameplay, better than Doom. Fight me.
It's the exact same thing as Doom. It was literally the same game.
I know. That's the point.
And Noah's Ark as well.
Yeah, I do remember that. Some Christians got hold of it, didn't they, and reskinned it.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some sort of irony there. The Christians got hold of an anti-Nazi game and reskinned it, but I don't know. One of them. That's probably a low note to finish on, but I'm going to finish there anyway. Again, everybody, I hope you've really enjoyed listening to that. And by all means, let us know if we have, like we usually do, missed some really obvious ones out because, we're not experts. We throw this together 5 minutes before we come on the air anyway. But if there's anything we missed there, honourable mentions, do let us know in the comments below. Also, if you have enjoyed this, if there's anything you want to hear us talk about in the future going forward with other episodes we're going to be doing, do leave a comment, do leave some suggestions, clean please if you can, that'd be great. And we'll try and bring some of these subjects up when we do our next one in a couple of weeks' time. But I think I can honestly say it's been good to be back.
Oh
Yes?
Yeah.
Yes. Been
Yeah,
too long.
I'm sorry it's been so long, but season 2 is well underway, and we should be back again in 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks this very fortnight from today, at the same time, 8 o'clock on this channel. And however you consume the podcast, whether you're watching it with this live chat or whether you're going to watch it the day after, whether you listen to it in the car or on the way to work, whatever, we just hope you enjoy it. Do let us know what you think, and hopefully we will continue to bring this podcast to you every couple of weeks. As always, I'd like to say a big thank you to the guys tonight. Pete Fighter 2, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sean, Retro Games Revive, thank you very much, mate.
Thank you.
And Nathan, Retro 1 and his Battlefield game collection.
Signing off, sir.
Signing off.
Thank you
This
all.
is the
Have a good
Retro.
evening.
This is the Retro Bear saying thank you very much indeed for listening, for watching, whatever. And we will speak to you again very, very soon. But until then, as always, do take care and bye for now.
Bye.